Hello, hello.
Hey, Candace.
Welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year, 2025.
Happy New Year, Candace. I hope everyone's had a good time and a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a little bit of a break, but I was working over Christmas. I heard you went on a cruise.
I went on a cruise around the land of the long flat vowel of New Zealand and had a great time. The weather was a bit rough. We had some big seas, but I had a good time. It was nice to get back to Auckland, and Fiordland was beautiful. Never been down there.
Nice.
So it was really good. Played a game of touch footy in Bay of Plenty, and it's fair to say I was involved in Australia's last win of the year on New Zealand soil. It was good fun. How about you, Rob?
Just a bit of downtime, went up the coast, hung out, did very, very little. It was fantastic. Get up, go for a walk and a swim, come home via the bakery, have breakfast, look at the view, read, sleep, rinse, repeat. Awesome.
Nice.
Do baguettes every play?
Pumpkin bread is the specialty.
Pumpkin bread.
Yeah, pumpkin bread is the specialty, and chocolate chip cookies.
And when you say up the coast, where's your version of up the
Crescent
coast?
Head.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's a family connection up there. So yeah, it goes back a long way. It was quite funny. One of the so-called locals called us renters because it gets a lot of tourists, and she was quite disparaging. And I said, well, been here for over a century, so you make the call. She was very grumpy. It was very funny though.
Bless.
I had last week at Lismore for my son playing a week-long cricket tournament, which was lovely. It was interesting to see Lismore. It's all a little bit mouldy still from the series of floods they've got, but shout out to Graham Cook up there. He tells me he's been listening to the pod, and long-term country referee, good fella Cookie.
Nice.
First morning up there was at a coffee shop and saw his accounting firm next door, so that was a very happy
What do they
coincidence.
call it? Cooking the books?
Cooking Cook.
Cook and cook. It's lucky he's not
like
in
that, though. I'll let him
Newcastle in
know.
England, because they say cook and cook.
Cook.
Anyway, Play On is back. The Investic Champions Cup, the EPCR as well. The PWR is rolling through. Alona Holmes.
You might have to help some of the listeners with the acronyms because I don't know what a PW is.
Yeah.
Premiership Women's
Rugby.
Yeah.
Rugby,
But
I
what was the last
just
one?
That's the tricky one. The R's really tricky.
I think all the other ones have like cups or this, that, and the other. But yeah, PWR stands for the Premiership Women's Rugby. Alona Holmes, I don't know if she's joined Bristol Bears.
Alona
and
Mar. Alona Mar.
What did I say? Alona Holmes?
Holmes.
Alona Mar. Who's a Holmes?
I don't
Anyway.
know. I don't know. Which movies have you been watching?
Alona Mar, she did her first test try with the Bristol Bears. As she went on, we all had different bets. Some of the girls back home in London, we had different bets on what time she would be put on in the match and also what position they would throw her in. So yeah, winger, and she got on about 60 minutes, I believe, 60 or 70 minutes. So yeah, last little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm a bit like you, Candace. I was really intrigued to see what position they'd play her, because we've got the same thing coming up with a lot of our Sevens women's players who are going to go play Super Rugby Women's this year, particularly a lot of them are in Queensland. So where do you put a Maddie Levi? I mean,
Does it matter?
Exactly.
Pretty much any
Somewhere
position.
on the field is the answer to that
But that's the
question.
point, right? She jumps in the line. She plays in the scrum and sevens. She plays wing when they're fast and loose. She's taller than any of the starting second rowers in the last
any
World
second
Cup
rowers.
final. She's super fast. So do you put her 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or do you put her 11, 12, 13, 14, or 15? Like, where do you put her?
I'd go 8 with a license to roam is my personal answer. I think
License
you
to
need that height in the
roam.
line out.
Yeah, it's a really good question,
Bit of a,
Pearcey.
Oh yeah, like she could go out to the
Zinzan
wing
Brook
if she
license to
wanted
roam.
to.
Or do you,
Yeah.
Zinzan Brook was allowed to roam by the coach back in the day, and
Zinzan, kick field goals from anywhere you want.
a bit like kung fu. I walk the earth and help people.
So Alona, it was interesting to see her come off the bench, and then she started last week and scored a Lomu-esque try. I don't know if you've seen it, but sit down. It was
pretty
just
much.
Boof. She's doing great things for the game in the UK. I think it's fantastic. It's great for the game in the US too, for that matter.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've got to say, I'm finding watching the women's rugby just more exciting than the men's, and long may that be the case.
And I think it's going to be really important how the Six Nations goes for the women in April, because that'll be a good to seeing where they are in order to lead up for the World Cup this year.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. It sort of leads into a big year, doesn't it? We've got Women's World Cup, we've got Lions down here, a slightly reconfigured Super Rugby format. We've got the women's sevens players going into Super Rugby women. So there's a lot to like about what's coming up really soon.
Exciting. Does anyone have any referee appointment highlights that happened for the Invistic Championship Cup and the EPCR Challenge Cup?
I have them in front of me here. So weekend just gone, we had Ludovic Kaya refed Stormers versus Sharks. Ben Whitehouse from Wales had Exeter Chiefs versus
Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Luke Pearce
we'll come back to that one.
Sharks and Toulousian, and Pierre Brousset. Oh, there's quite a few here. I don't know how to say that one. Owen Cross. Is that it? EOGH? That's Owen.
I think you need a bit more phlegm, Pearcey.
Rowan. Goodness, they just keep going. Christoph Ridley was there. Andrew Brace had a game. Nika had a game. Luke Ramos, Mike Adamson. And they haven't actually published the appointments for the weekend coming, but there's another round starting on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a big weekend of rugby. I mean, it's a bit of a hiatus for us, but European rugby was powering ahead as was Japanese rugby. So it never stops. How good.
Woo! So much to talk about. Also, I'm so excited. I love the Six Nations, and it's only a few more weekends. So it starts in January 31st.
Great day, that's my wife's birthday. I have to remember that one.
There you go.
It's really exciting with Paul Williams refereeing his 40th test on the 31st of January, France v Wales.
That'll be a nice one.
He's a good fella, Paul. I like the way he referees.
Yeah, me too. 40 is a good number, but 50 is even more impressive. Our great friend Gus, as well as Ben O'Keefe, being 50
bravo
test
for
milestones.
them.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
we'll have to highlight that one
once
we get to those special tests. But no, it's good on them. And Carl Dixon's doing Scotland versus Italy. And like you said, Ben O'Keefe will get his 50th. But then Ireland versus England. That will be really exciting.
Well, there's some big games. I mean, you got England, France. Nick has got that. Gus is doing Ireland, France. I mean, that's probably for me the game that probably will decide the Six Nations.
Yes.
It's an interesting one when you do the appointments beforehand. That's the third week. It could be a non-event.
It could be.
Depending on previous results. But then again, it could. You're right. On the surface, you would think that may decide.
Well, and you got two teams who are still probably carrying a bit of emotional baggage from losing quarterfinals that they could have probably expected to win in the World Cup. And here they are going head-to-head at the Aviva. I mean, that's going to be an absolute doozy of a game.
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to that. And the Scotland games, the final game of the tournament is France-Scotland. That could also be a decider because a lot of people are tipping Scotland to be the up-and-coming team.
This
happens every year for them, though.
It does. I know.
I'd say by round 5 they might be... The problem for the Scottish is if they lose the player, there's just zero depth.
I agree. And I don't think they're quite at their best. I don't think they're as good as France or Ireland at their best.
Yeah.
They're a good scrapper, and I like the way they play footy. I think they're really good to watch.
When they're good, they're really good.
When they're playing Australia for some reason. And Nick Berry's got Wales, England. So congratulations to Bez.
Yes, Wales, England. That could be anything depending on what's happening in Wales.
Yeah, the highlight could well be the anthems beforehand.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. Or the Welsh players meeting their coach for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's lots of rugby happening, and we're going to try to keep up to date and see if anything exciting happens that we might want to bring up and review.
Well, there's certainly one that I have been thinking long and hard about. Most of our listeners will have probably read or seen some of the spray that Mack Hanson's pointed at a referee, and I'd really like your opinions on that one. Candace, do you want to spell out what's happened there?
What happened was Mack Hanson, there's this sort of, what do you call it when like after the game they have all the press review sort of thing?
press.
Yeah, he was in the press conference
Yeah, the
with the
post-match
coach.
Yeah, he's
conference.
press conference with the coach.
Yeah.
And someone must have asked a question about the game, and you could tell the coach gave a really political answer of saying that they'll feedback their comments to the normal way through the referee society group and everything, and just did made it really simple. And then Mack just came in being like, do you mind if I add something? And you could tell he was a bit angry and steamy anyway after the match. And he went on to criticize the referees on how they made their decisions. And there's a few swear words brought in there as well, and saying that it just happens too often. They're missing things. And he felt as though that they weren't being like fair and consistent as well. Like the fact that there's a few big knocks that happened to one of their players, and he was really annoyed about that. In particular, he thought there was a head-on-head and that they didn't consider that. And that player ended up having to go off for a check anyway, later on in the game. So basically, in the end, after that, there was an independent disciplinary panel. They upheld it, and there was a charge of misconduct against him and what he said. I think it originally started for 6 weeks because of criticizing a referee. It sort of goes under the clauses, was it the law 3.313, like foul play, like you can't, it's unsportsmanship by like insulting a referee.
They got him with the disciplinary rules of the competition rather than the laws of the game. So,
okay.
Yeah. Which, they reflect the laws of the game anyway. So, in this case, misconduct was defined to include, amongst other things, any conduct, behaviour, statements or practices by a club and or any of its players, blah, 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 that is unsporting and or insulting, that brings the potential to bring the sport of rugby union into disrepute.
And I think what also happened from that, his 6-week ban went to 3 weeks because of how sorry he felt after. He was really remorseful, and
there was some contrition shown.
Yes, he has to go to sorry school as well.
Yeah. And then there was some personal reasons. I think I understand that why Chris Busby's meant to retire, mainly because of personal reasons. But then just from the headlines, they're saying this sort of tipped him over the edge. But then I'm not sure. That's what I've been reading. But the main reason is that he was leaving for personal reasons, which, considering that he got selected for the Six Nations as well, I'm not sure if he's retiring after the Six Nations or it's going to be as of now.
I've read the press conference there, and the press release there, and it's saying he's still listed as assistant referee for 2 Six Nation matches. It's not saying whether he is or isn't going to do that.
Yeah, you'd like to think
that's a shame. I mean, no one likes losing referees.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd like to think now that it's all settled down, he's had a chance to consider his position, he'll be back into it. But it just shows that it's really important to sanction that sort of behaviour, because as soon as you start questioning the integrity of the game, that's a black hole we don't want to go down. It unravels pretty quickly. That's one of the values of rugby that we probably do best. We need to maintain that.
Yeah, it does happen at all levels. And Mack Hanson, in his apology, is talking about mutual respect, and in this instance, he didn't honour that. I think it's important that we show that respect. There's nothing wrong with having that conversation. Just do it behind closed doors, not in a press conference.
Yes, and maybe
I think that actually showed a little.
Probably have time to chill out. You know, when someone's really like, it's just after match, still has probably adrenaline going on through, and probably needs a bit of time to reflect, release all that somewhere else, and then you can probably have a chat maybe a few hours after, I believe.
Yeah, and there's processes, and these guys review their games. They pull them apart big time.
I would have loved to have seen the coach step in and pull him up.
Yeah, he just sat there
I'd have loved to have
quiet.
seen the coach pull Mack Hanson up.
Yeah.
Mack, I think it's time to pull up there. I really don't agree with what you're saying here.
Yeah, he was very quiet the entire time.
Not the time, not the place. But, the context is interesting, isn't it? The Irish system, you got your 4 provinces, Leinster's the golden child. So there's a little bit of a, it was Leinster at Connaught, Matt plays for Connaught, and they're a bit upset because Big Brother seemed to them to get favouritism. So there's that underlying cultural issue within the Irish rugby setup as well.
But Chris Busby's also Irish.
And a decent coach from a playing point of view. And I'm conscious that this is delving out of our lane, but a good coach would point point them at things they can control, not that chip on the shoulder mentality. I as you can see over my shoulder here, the Ted Lasso Believe poster. I don't think good coaching these days focuses on that chip on the shoulder stuff.
I think the good coaches, mind managers, and I agree, Pearcey, a good coach would have whacked that in the bud and or dropped him, because that's not the sort of thing you want in your team, because it's not constructive.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure if anyone actually saw some of the clips. I think what they're believing is what he's quite angry about. It was a clear out at a ruck by old famous Geordie, just going in there. It looked as though he was going at an angle, firstly, but that was, again, I'm not on the field. I don't have the best position. I didn't watch it live, so you should trust the process as well.
My first view was, I think that's okay. They did have a chance to review it at the game, but they didn't. There's a whole bit of process there. But in practice, he was caught too high. The ball carrier was caught too high anyway. We can look down track, but they can control that initial contact. And being held up like that was not the intent of it. As referees, we can control what we can control. As players, they should be looking to control what they can control. And they can't control the referee's decisions. They can try and influence him if that's, if they've got time and energy to do so. I don't think that's a good use of the energy.
A lesson for players at all levels.
Let's move on through to the main segment, which is talking about the Rugby Australia's strategy plan, aka green to gold plan. I do want to highlight that I had an idea that Australia's hosting a lot of rugby, but then when I actually look at the timeline, we are hosting a lot of major rugby matches in the next little chunk of time. You have the British and Irish Lions tour this year. You have the Men's Rugby World Cup in 2027. Then in 2029, you have the Women's Rugby World Cup. And then we're hosting an Olympics. Yeah, I totally understand the strategy plan.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, apart from that, there's nothing on.
I think they're still trying to figure out what all this Olympic stadium stuff is going on. I feel like every other time I put the news on, I think there's always someone debating about buildings and stuff. Anyway, besides that.
Yeah, Queensland politics, don't go there.
So should we talk about the pillars, or should we relate it to how it affects match officials? Because obviously there's lots of rugby.
I think it affects match officials is obviously key to us, and the fact that we're going to be hosting all of those things, it's a tremendous opportunity for us as a country.
It's exciting.
Look, it's hugely exciting. It's a very top level document. It's an outward facing document to give people an idea of what's happening in case they weren't aware. But the devil will be in the detail behind the scenes, and how it's funded and how it's financed and how it's resourced. And that's something that I know they're still working on. But match officials do get mentioned several times, which is comforting.
Woo! They're not forgetting us.
No, they're not. It'd be fair to say that there is an appreciation for match officials at the senior levels of RA. We know that. Even if people don't fully recognise that, they know that they have to develop lots more of us, because the game will grow off the back of this.
Yeah, exactly. They mentioned about how they wanted to grow accredited coaches and match officials by 30%. I didn't see the start and finish time of that 30%, but how. But they don't really go into detail. Like you said, it's very top line. How are you going to get 30% more people to start being match officials? Are you putting more money into the societies to then help advertise and do different things? I don't know how does that work if you're meant to do a 30% increase.
I think there's a few different prongs on that, and match officials are a key part of it. Coaches and administrators are a key part of it.
Yeah.
So underpinned, they want 30% more players, but you need all the rest of it to go up with it.
Symbiotic.
Typically, coaches and referees happen after the fact. And I think it's very clever. They're trying to front end it a little bit. The figures I looked at with the strategic document before Christmas, they were certainly trying to resource the match official developers, which they have recognised as the way to retain match officials. The recruitment of match officials is probably the big challenge.
Yes.
We don't have a club of referees we can go and recruit them from. They come from other clubs. Yeah, they come from all the
all deaths
community clubs.
Yeah.
Now, Rob, you didn't come and join a referee society directly. You played footy as a wee tacker,
yeah.
and then
I player /
Sweet.
referee. And it's really funny when I talk to players, I'm just like, oh, hey, I'm like, you seem to know a lot about this. Have you ever thought about refereeing? And they're all just like, they're like umming and ahhing. And I feel like they're just either not sure or they're not. Yeah. So I think there's ways to develop it. They also say educate administrators, like you mentioned, coaches and match officials to world-class standards, because obviously these matches are massive and it's like meant to represent the best in the world. So also getting those match officials to that level within that period of time as well and exposing them to everything that they need to. And yeah, like you said, enhance mentoring and development opportunities. So yeah, it sounds as though like they understand that they need to educate and improve everything. I guess it's just how they do it.
If you step through some of those appointments, like the British and Irish Lions landing in the country this year, the referees for that are refereeing Six Nations this year. That's their trial for it. If they do well there, that's how they get appointed. They obviously can't be from the British and Irish teams, and they can't be from Australia, so that does narrow it down a little bit.
Yes.
Probably have a Kiwi, a Frenchman, and we spoke last year about the fact there's a dearth of South Africans. We may not have any there, so the third one could be interesting.
Yes.
In terms of the World Cup, those guys would be on the pathway, but they may not be quite there yet. There's a chance for a couple of bolters to make that. And then the Olympics, some of those guys may not, in fact, be refereeing at elite level yet.
Yeah, about to say, I'm like, that's ages away.
I tell my daughter quite often that if you want to play rugby at the Olympics, it'll be in Brisbane by the time you're ready. And she's at school at the moment, so it'd be a stretch to see Maddie Levi make another 7 years. That's what we're talking, isn't it? 32.
Yeah, 7
32.
years. But like Maddie's only 22 now.
So she could make it, but most sevens athletes don't last that long.
It's so competitive.
But you look at a Charlotte Caslick or a Portia Woodman, they do have that endurance, and a home tournament for Australia, that'd be really compelling, particularly if you're from Queensland, right? So,
but if you're a 14-year-old school kid, you're going to be 21 at
absolutely,
in theory, peak physical prowess. And same with the match officials. Like a match official, if you look at the sevens program at the moment, Ella, for example, where was she 7 years ago? She was at school.
Yep, or she was playing at East probably about 2 years ago.
So that for me is the interesting part of it. Yeah, how do we throw those guys in a big funnel and get the cream out the bottom of it?
And that's just the people with the whistle, because you look at hosting a World Cup and the infrastructure and the match official team that goes around that. You've got your obvious team of three, but you've got a TMO, you've got a TMO assist, you've got a foul play review, you've got a 4, you've got a 5, you've got a 6, and you're going to need them for every test match. So you got a men's in 27 with an expanded comp with 24 teams, and then the women's in 29, which will, I suspect, expand as well. So you're going to need a whole bunch of people who aren't necessarily running around the field, but they need to know their stuff at the highest level to support that. So your 4, 5, 6 role is really important, as is your TMO assists and your foul play review assist.
And don't forget the logisticians as well, the people who get from A to B.
Administrators.
Feed and
absolutely.
Water. Having been a part of a World Cup
a liaison
a long time ago as a water boy, it's so cool.
100%.
Ref number 6.
No, and we're going to be going to parts of Australia where maybe that capability isn't where it would be if we're in, say, a Sydney or a Brisbane. So that's a logistical consideration as well. So
did I read not Melbourne though? Is that what I read?
Yeah.
I think I heard Adelaide, Canberra, Darwin, but
literally
not Melbourne.
Everywhere else.
Well, the Victorians shot themselves in the foot again.
Oh, I thought Melbourne was known as like the sports capital of
the world.
Oh, of the world.
In Victoria.
Yeah, unless you're the Commonwealth Games. Sorry, we don't want that. Ooh, icky. Rugby World Cup, third biggest sporting event in the world. Yeah.
Not sure. Okay, next. I mean, what a clanger.
It's a bloody shame. That's a beautiful stadium down there.
But it's just madness that the Victorians don't understand the context of it.
Is there because there's a big AFL thing that I don't know about that's happening around the same time?
No, it's out of the AFL window.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of any other thing.
No,
F1?
No, they've chosen a really good window. It's from memory, 1st of October to 13th of November. This is the men's in 27. And that's a pretty quiet time. You know, the cricket hasn't really started. AFL's finished. NRL's finished. Like, it's a sweet spot.
They have
Absolute
no
sweet spot.
excuses in my mind.
Oh, it'll be brilliant. And it'll be nice and warm.
And the weather won't have come in too much. We tend to get storms a bit later than that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it won't be too hot in Queensland because I think they're playing some matches in the north, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I think
Townsville
and Cairns.
Yeah. So
I think I saw Cairns had a game too.
yeah. So
Oh, nice.
Road trip.
yeah. Absolutely.
Pod on the road.
Oh yeah.
Get some sponsors, Candace.
Okay.
Get a
I
travel
have
budget
I have a
together.
few more years.
Does anyone know any accounting firms who need some publicity?
I know an accounting firm. They got plenty of work.
Oh, well, they should have some money then.
Bless. Sweet. Just gonna read out quickly the pillars: performance and excellence, participation, growth. The last one, promotion and effectiveness.
Does that come straight out of Michael Porter's, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Australian rugby values are actually straight out of the World Rugby Law Book. Discipline, respect, integrity, passion, teamwork, which I'm okay with because that means we're aligned. But unless you're probably a match official who's read it, everyone will read that, oh, that's a good idea. Well, it's an intrinsic part of the game already, which is, again, what we should be doing.
So, yeah, hopefully based off the British and Irish Lions, let's see how the Wallabies go with the Women's World Cup for the Wallaroos and see how they get on with their little, because they want to be number one. So we'll see.
So a date for the calendar is the Tars Reds Super Rugby Women's game. That is going to be massive because I think we've got all the Sevens players playing in that game.
That'll be exciting.
Absolutely. That's going to be an absolute ripper.
I did want to touch on the decision by the Perth Sevens to put the women's game as the pillar game at the very end. I thought that's a great move.
100%.
Well done.
I think hats off. Can we give them the golden whistle this week? The Perth
let's give them the golden whistle. Go for it.
I
hope they
I love it.
make the finals.
Well, I know they're doing a training run this Friday in Sydney before they head off.
I've seen them do it at East before, and I almost freaked out. I was like just in the gym, like I was like, oh my God, Maddie Levi walked by the gym. I was like, what's happening?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how they pick up the pieces after the Cape Town adventure they had. So I think Tim Walsh will have them tuned. And also Perth last year. They were disappointing in Perth last year, so they'll have a point to prove.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It's exciting.
Final match of the tournament. That should be good.
Yeah. Well done.
Yep.
Well done. Great decision. Shall we maybe end with a law of the week / there's different tries that have been like blowing up through socials recently because there's different laws that people either don't know or they haven't seen that are being brought up. Well, there's been a few where it's been happening in the UK Prem / in like those European Cup games. One in particular I remember seeing because when I watched it was a player kicked the ball and hit the post. Not the post, sorry. The
corner post?
The corner post. And then that other player that was behind the kicker like timed the run really well and ended up getting that ball and then scoring. I think that was right. That was one of the ones that I saw.
Yeah, that was brilliant because, the guy toes it through, it ricochets off the corner flag and goes into the in goal. And the chasers keep going, but the defenders go, oh, hang on a minute. And they stop just long enough that the chasers got ahead of them and ground it. And here we have a try. Where in years gone by, Pearcey probably remember the days, if it hit the corner post, it was out. And we happily changed that law. The joy or the risk of another funny bounce of the rugby ball because we don't have enough of those. And when they hit the corner post, it could go anywhere, and it did.
Yep. And again, to remind players, play till you hear the whistle. Just keep on playing.
Spot on.
Don't assume anything.
Spot on. Absolutely.
There's an interesting one. We were talking about a player being in touch but not being in possession of the ball as well in the Exeter Bordeaux game. And lo and behold, that came about. I thought it was a really good demonstration of what we're talking about. Player whose foot in touch kicked the ball. The ball hadn't crossed the plane of touch, so he kicked the ball. Despite the fact he's out, the ball wasn't out. His teammate chased through and grounded the ball in goal.
Yep. I think that was the one as well that one like blew up because the referee did a really good explanation for the review to people, and I could feel like he was trying to manage the players and try to like has everything going on in his ear.
He was also a little bit under physical duress. He chased pretty
Absolutely.
hard.
Yeah.
Quite funny to watch him huffing and puffing with it.
Yeah, he was trying to get his heart rate down and find his checklist somewhere buried in the depths of his brain.
Now.
And he was leaning on the TMO a little bit, and they used their process really well and got the right outcome. That was ref was Ben Whitehouse, and it was a little 1-2 from the French wingers. So Louis Biari towed the ball.
Yeah,
well done.
Towed the ball back inside for Damien Pinot to score, and Exeter left there sort of just scratching their head going, what the actual hell just happened?
No, that was out.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell from the video because sometimes like it looks as though his foot was on the line, but then I was just like...
And his foot was on the line,
absolutely.
but the ball hadn't crossed the plane.
Yeah, I think that's where people get confused, though.
Yeah, 100%.
So.
And you said it, Candace, the Exeter winger stopped chasing. The whistle hadn't gone, and he didn't chase the ball down. He was in front of them, could have grounded it first.
Yeah, the good old plan of touch. I had one of those, not last year, the year before now. I had that happen. I was running the line. It happened to me twice in 2 seconds because they went to kick for touch. The guys completely shanked it. So the defending wingers come in and he's tapped it back in field right under my nose because I wasn't expecting it to be there because, he was meant to be somewhere else. And it hadn't crossed the plane, so I'm at play on. And then ball's bounced back to go out again. And a second player's come in and done exactly the same thing. And so I'm just going, holy hell. Have I got this right? Bang, bang. Oh, yeah, play on. And it was just like this. It hadn't crossed the plane. The guy was out, tapped it in, play on. And the home crowd who it was against blew up royale.
Yeah, surely that was out somewhere.
They would give it to me for the rest of the game. It's one of the usual suspect crowds.
If it's not crossed the plane, but the player, do they have to be in midair when they do it?
Let me read you the law.
No.
Let me read you the law.
Yes, that'll be easier because I think sometimes I get confused with like open play sometimes versus like maybe.
So this is law 18, touch, quick throw and line out, and we're talking touch or touch and goal. So this is law 18 2D. So the ball is not in touch or touching goal if a player who is in touch, which is what we had here with Louis, kicks or knocks the ball but does not hold it. And that's the really important part of it, the first part, provided it has not reached the plane of touch. So that's the second part. So were they holding it, yes or no? Did it reach the plane of touch, yes or no?
Okay.
So our test here, was he holding it? No. Did it reach the plane?
No. Shoot it.
And when we say did it reach the plane, the angle doesn't, it's not definitive.
No, I would have liked to have seen a different angle, right down the line.
I would love to send the in-goal camera about a foot further to the left. But can I say, if you're not certain, go with the spectacular.
I agree.
And it was spectacular.
Yeah.
If it looks like it could have been a blade of grass either side, go with the spectacular. Reward the spectacular. You want a try on the highlight reel that looks like that. You don't want a disallowed try that looks like that.
Oh, look, I agree. And it's the same with those held up tries or not held up. In community rugby, we get one look at it and there's bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
We go, oh, I held him up. So I said, mate, saw a blade of grass, try.
Yep. Spectacular.
Move on. Off we go. So.
Did it pass the spectacular test?
And it was good footy. And here we are all talking about it. Social media's blowing up Royale. It's traction for rugby. Happy days.
What's your rugby goal for the year, Candace?
My rugby goal for the year is...
I put you on the spot. Can I share mine while you think?
Yes, go for it. That gives me more time.
I want to walk off every Saturday saying, how good is rugby?
How good is rugby? Is that not you every weekend?
Stupid.
Not always?
It's what you want, but I've never had it front of house. It's just going to be, that's all it's about this year. How good is rugby?
How good is rugby? I agree with that. Maybe you need to have it as like a little, I don't know, when you get ready in your changing room, have a little poster.
Yeah, write it on the tape on my wrist.
Yes, or that. Oh, kiss.
I'm not doing that.
Don't you need a whole bunch of emojis on your tape?
Yep. And I love Mum.
I love Mum. Yeah.
And Jesus.
Yeah, a Bible verse.
Mine would be to be able to referee in both the country games and the Sydney games this year. and to hopefully feel as though I can, with my improved injury recovery, to do a first grade match in the country.
Hey.
Because I
Awesome.
don't know if I'll do that in Sydney. So I'll just pick the country. So yeah,
Hey, there's plenty of first grade games in Sydney.
that will be my goal, is to do a bit of balance so I can feel like I get a bit of a mix, and to maybe practice some different scenarios and captain's chats.
Cool.
So yeah.
How about you, Rob?
Mine's just really simple, Pearcey, and it's pretty much like yours. Just have fun. Just enjoy it. You know, it doesn't happen forever. Just enjoy the moment. Enjoy being on the field. Enjoy being around it. You know, life's too short not to.
Love it.
Try to stay positive. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Life's too short for shit rugby.
Yeah.
Yes. On that note, thank you all for listening for this week. Yeah, if you guys have any things that you see online, like the ones that we just spoke about in some of those matches, you can send them through on our Instagram or through our social channels as well. And yeah, we can bring them up and dissect them or dissect them.
We could even pull them apart.
We can pull them apart. I was trying to think like how we have like a golden whistle, law of the week. I don't know if we can call it like the ref review or something. I don't know how we like pull it apart.
Well, we could
Like,
have
if
it
you want to
happen.
name it
Let's
something.
ponder
It
that.
happened to me and it happened to them.
Happened to me, happened.
I like it.
Working
There you go.
title.
Working title.
We'll work on it. Thanks, Candace. You were great. Rob, you were pretty good too.
Good to see you back, Pearcey.
Yay.
Yay.
Candace, big year ahead.